So thank you all for attending. What I'd like to do is introduce myself. Two of you are clients, and Miss Cindy, what is your last name?
Voss,
Oh,
Voss.
Okay, Cindy Voss. Hello. I was like, I didn't know her last name. Now I know who you are. There were multiple Cindy's on there. Um, Thanks for having me or staying with me today. You all know I'm Judy Hayes with Design Realty Group. I already know where you all are located. I know if you are buyers and sellers, so I'm just going to jump right in. Some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, I'm mostly going to share my screen. So I'm going to be jumping around on various slideshows. So if you ever can't see what I'm talking about, please bring it to my attention and be like, hey, you're talking about something and you're on the wrong slide, because sometimes it doesn't follow along with that. But the first thing I want to talk to you about is interest rates. That, of course, affects both our buyers and our sellers, and I'm sure you're all well aware of that. So March 2023, our interest rates were at 4.75%. Today, this morning, they're at 6.03%, which is good because a few weeks and months ago, we were almost in the eights. So they are trickling down. So that's very good. I am going to share my screen really quick with you guys and show you what the difference is. So whether you're a buyer or a seller, you need to know this. So can you see my mortgage calculator here? So we're on my website and there's a mortgage calculator. So if you had a $400,000 home and you were putting $20,000 down and you are at 4.75%, I'm sorry, 4.75%, and you are putting 20,000 down, your payment was $19.82 a month. If you take the exact same thing and change it to 6.03, you're $22.86 a month. So that's a little over $400 a month increase. And that's pretty substantial. And that, of course, is just your principal and insurance. That has nothing to do with your taxes and or your insurance. That's principal and interest on there alone. So how does that affect you? Obviously, it affects your monthly payment. It affects our buyer with their buying power and what they're comfortable for. So if they were approved for a $400,000 house in March of last year, now they may only be approved for $350,000. And believe it or not, that $50,000 difference can make a huge difference about the quality and or the area of the home that they're looking in. What also that interest rate does, I can tell you that almost 100% of every client I'm seeing, whether it's a buyer or seller, they're asking the seller to pay closing costs. So I am preparing my sellers for that, because the buyers are buying that interest rate down. And I'm sure you all know a point in interest rate. So if the interest rate is 6.5% and you want to buy it down a point, is 6.25. So that's a point in there. And that cost about $3,000 to buy that down. So obviously buyers are asking sellers to help with that. And then I'm trying to set the seller's expectations, because a lot of buyers are asking for that. So we kind of talk about that up front. We are expecting our interest rates to keep trickling down, and everybody in the sky that knows special things, that knows what's going on, they feel June and July are going to be when the interest rates, the feds have another meeting and the interest rates start chuckling. Even last week, it went up to the sevens again. Now it's kind of come back. It's kind of, going up and down right now. So our lenders are kind of watching that and making sure they're locking you. The other thing I want to make sure you guys know, when you're buying, when you get your pre-approval with your lender, that rate that they've quoted you today is not locking you in. That's today's rate. They cannot lock you until your realtor has then executed a contract with you and they've got that contract in front of you. Does everybody understand that and know that? Just make sure you do. A little bit of information. HAR, our president of HAR, they do a very good job of keeping the real estate agents up to date about what's going on. Honestly, I am a subscriber to Inman. If you've ever heard of Inman, they are like the nationwide gurus of real estate. They know everything. They're up there with Zillow. They deal with the huge brokerages like Remax, Keller Williams, and all those giant brokerages about what's going on in the real estate market nationwide. Honestly, I don't pay too much attention to nationwide because we're in Texas. Texas is different. I know, Mike, you guys are moving to Florida. Florida is very similar to Texas. Thank goodness with our housing market, we're very strong because Texas and Florida, obviously people are moving here like crazy. So those national statistics, don't let those freak you out. Look at more what's going on normally. So let me kind of just read to you what our CEO told us in February. They said expect interest rates to start lowering in June or July. However, here's the however. Even with lower mortgage rates, home prices are likely to continue rising, which would offset any affordability gain. Let me show you this. So this is it switching to keeping current matters? Can everybody see keeping current matters?
Yes.
Okay, so 2024 housing market. So this is kind of what they're seeing for their pricing forecast. This is not interest rate. This is what they feel like home prices. Experts expect home prices to end up in this year up 2.8%. That was for the end of 2023, and another 1.5% in 2024. The total home sales forecast for 2023 and 2024 in the millions. And this is, of course, nationwide. But even though, and I can tell you this for 100% fact, especially in the Houston, Texas area, have you all know home prices are not coming down. So the interest rate is a teeny bit coming down. So that affordability is not being flexible at all. The Fannie Mae economists project that mortgage rates will decrease to below 6% by the conclusion of the year. So we have so many home buyers on the fence, and I get that. But know this, as soon as those rates start coming down, and so I'm predicting with what they're telling me, from June to the end of the year, we're going to see a much busier market now. I know Mike and Cindy, you're both going to be home sellers. You're going to feel that market of anxiety and the buyers wanting to get in there when that interest rate comes down, because so many buyers have been on the fence because they don't like this interest rate. So once it comes down, they are predicting will be below 6% by the end of the year. However, they also caution that if there isn't substantial growth in the housing supplies and demand from buyers remain robust, home prices are likely to increase once more. So the interest rate may come down, but what is the housing price going to do? It's going to go up. So we're in Texas. We're very stable with our economy. We're stable with our job market. We're stable in our housing market. Existing home sales in 2023 hit the record low since 1995. So the brakes went on after the summer because those interest rates started skyrocketing. And I can say that I'm in my 15th year of doing this right now. And I can tell you that November and December were the slowest 2 months I have ever had in my career. Of course, it quote slows down during the holidays, always does as far as sellers. Nobody wants to put their house on during Christmas. Nobody wants to deal with that. They're decorating. So I knew I was going to have a big January, but I can tell you November and December were the two slowest months I've had in my personal career in 15 years. I generally close between 8 and 10 houses a month. I closed 3 houses in 2 months, and I'm one of the top producing agents in the area. And that was all based on interest rates. Number one, the holidays are there. But come January, I had 13 new listings and we're all under contract except for 3. And unfortunately, one's in a bad area, 2 are priced too high, and I've got to get my sellers to listen to me. Okay. Slow sales, let's say, were influenced by the higher mortgage rate, with an average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage reaching a 23-year high in early November. So that's what killed the market right there. Tight inventory led to a record high median sales price for existing home, reaching $389,800 in 2023. And that is a 4.4 increase from the previous year. So the average price point is getting higher. It's not coming down in our area. At the start of 2024, there were 1 million existing home units on the market in the Houston area, representing a 3.2 month supply at a current sales market. So everybody asked me, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? They consider it a seller's market if it's under 4 months of inventory. Okay, anything over 4 months, they're considering it a buyer. So we're kind of starting to teeter on that. Okay, let me show you something else. So can you see the Northeast Houston market update?
Yes.
Okay, let me make it bigger. So Kathy Heinrich is my sales rep at First American Title. That's where I do the majority of my closing, obviously in the Kingwood-Humble area. She is phenomenal and she provides this to us every month. So these are all the areas that all of us are concerned about. And here's kind of a summary for our February 24 listings. New listings in our area were up 27.5%. Active listings were up 16.9%, and we are just now coming up on the busy season. Our average list price has increased by 3.4%, so the price of homes is not coming down. So the first part I was talking about as far as home increase was kind of Houston-wide. This is Northeast Houston. You can see Kingwood, Atascocita, Huff, all of these areas right here. Here are some key highlights in our areas. For active listings, 7.5% up from February of 2023. So that's very good. I can tell you personally, for Design Realty Groups, I run our numbers on a monthly basis. Both January and February numbers were 30% higher than they were in 2023. Homes in the majority of areas are selling slightly faster with a decrease in the number of days on the market. So DOM right here. This is good. I like to see my days on the market at 30 days or under. To me, if it's over than 30 days, there's a problem. You're either priced too high or there's something wrong with your house that your buyer is not liking. So if you are not getting any showings, period. Now let me precedent that with you've got a good real estate agent, your photos are good, your house is ready. So if your house is ready and shows good and you're not getting any activity, I have 2 of those right now, you're priced too high. Okay. If you are not under contract within 30 days, there's a problem and we need to resolve the problem. If it's not the price, something's wrong with the house, the way it looks, the way it smells, the way it stages, the condition of the home. So every house will sell, but if there's a problem with the house, the price needs to reflect what that problem is. So again, that takes us back to the pricing. The average days on the market for our area, our Northeast Houston, is 52. I think that's too high. But with that being said, let me precedent that by saying you have a lot of rural properties. You have Huffman, Splendora, Crosby, Dayton. Anything rural, you may see longer days on the market because sometimes there's property, sometimes with the no restrictions that can be undesirable for people because maybe the listing property looks really good, maybe the neighbor does not. Those surrounding areas affect the individual listing more in your rural area than obviously your standard Kingwood area where there's deed restrictions that you can't, have a whole group of chickens or dogs or junk in your front yard. Sold single family properties across our entire area has been a significant uptick, showing a 9% increase from January to February. The Kingwood stands out with a remarkable 42.6% increase in sold properties compared to last February. Sold properties in Crosby and Splendora ISD have more than doubled. So Laura, you're in Splendora, you're across from the school district. I don't even need to tell you this. New construction in both Splendora and Crosby is huge, and especially Splendora. Mike and Cindy, I'm from Splendora. Laura is on here, she's from Splendora. We've never had that kind of growth. We've never had new construction. So FM 2090 West across from the high school, there's new construction going on like crazy, and it's rampant there, and it's been rampant in Crosby. So 2 completely different areas, but kind of similar with their new construction that's making that growth very desirable in that area. Months of inventory, the average days on the market is hovering around 3.8%, indicating we are still in a seller's market and have a shortage of inventory. So what's happening, I had this meeting literally yesterday here in the Commons. They're thinking of selling their house, but they bought in 2021. And what's their interest rate? 3%. He's like, I don't want to let go of it because I'm probably never going to see it. And I'm like, yes, sir, you're probably never going to see that again because we hope we never have a pandemic. And that's why you had that. So our sellers are very hesitant. If they are locked in at that interest rate, unless there's a job relocation or a major change in their life, they're not just changing or selling because they're bored or they want to see what they can get, because they may be able to get more for their home, but when they buy, they're going to buy high and they're going to pay double the interest rate of what they have right now. So that's not very desirable for a lot of people. So they're holding on to those homes right there. New construction, as I just talked about in Splendora, is the hottest homes moving everywhere because of their incentives. They are absolutely insane. Pretty much every single new construction builder has an incentive on there. They are going, you don't have to ask them, you don't have to beg them, you don't have to cry, you just don't even ask, and they're just throwing money at you because they can. How can they do that? So I'm showing you a flyer from D.R. Horton. It's their Texas two-step. They do this every year around the rodeo. $50,000. I've never seen this before. It's obviously on a select D.R. Horton inventory. So it's up to $50,000. And how do you get the most money? The houses that are going to get you the most incentives on D.R. Horton are the ones that have been sitting on the ground the longest. D.R. Horton is America's builder, and they have more inventory homes than any other builder you will see. You can go into a neighborhood and see 20 or 30 inventory homes, which is insane, but they sell them so fast because they are kind of, in my opinion, they are a first-time home buyer. They are perfect for our teachers. They're perfect for our police officers. They're kind of in that, they're actually in Splendora. You can get in the low twos in there, but they average around 300, and there's just neighborhoods and pockets all over the place. But they are offering this. Number one, they're buying your interest rate down, period. How can they do that? They own the financing, they own the lender. So in order to get these incentives from D.R. Horton or any other new construction, you have to use their lender. Their lenders are phenomenal. So they are able to buy that down for you without charging you. Okay, so you can also buy your interest rate down when you are purchasing a resale and you're asking the seller to help pay for it, but somewhere in there, it's still kind of coming out of your pocket a little bit. But in new construction, they're eating those costs because they're going to make their money on a 30-year mortgage, right? They're giving you everything, additional closing costs, design center, D.R. Horton, you don't go to the design center. That's one thing about them. Whatever their home is, it is what it is. You obviously have to go to a higher end builder. In the Highlands is our area, and there's a lot of them in here that you can go to the design center and build your home from the ground up, from the dirt up. Keeping current matters, we looked at that one already. Do we have any questions on kind of what I covered so far? Anybody?
No.
All good so far.
All good so far.
Yep.
Is there something that I didn't cover, and I talk fast, that you guys would like to go over? I know Mike and Cindy, you're both going to be sellers. So Cindy, what's it looking in downtown Humble?
There's minimal inventory,
Right.
so that's a plus. Just have to see how it's going to go. I'm thinking maybe March might be good. Might see a couple more homes come on the market, but I don't know. I know there's some older homes that are being flipped. They're
Right.
not on the market yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they are and how they, what they look like and how they price them to have to compare and compete against.
Cindy lives in downtown Humble. Laura, you're probably familiar with that. She has a cute home that Cindy, even if they're rehabbing it, I'm going to say it's going to be hard to beat. They're going to have to be top level to beat your home.
Oh, thank you.
Girl, you know that. She has a super cute home. Mike is working on his home. Mike, how much land do you want? I apologize.
What's that?
How much land are you on?
It's between 200 and 245, I guess.
Yeah. So you don't have any questions? I want to, hold on. I was just sharing again. Let me share one more time. I want to invite you guys to a couple of things. Here's my YouTube channel. My best friend is Darla, and we do a weekly real talk show. It's live, but then we put it out here that we're just talking about all things real estate. Yesterday, we had a fun one. It's not up here yet, but this is a nice variety of just a bunch of chit chat, kind of what we're doing right here. And then my website is the Hayes Team And if you go in there, just updated all of this. And we have our buyer and our seller tab, but lots of information on here, and the menu tab, that's where I went over to the mortgage calculator. So if you guys ever want to run some quick numbers on here, of course, this is just your principal and your interest right here. You would have to do the advanced portion if you know what, your taxes and your homeowner's insurance are. Super easy way to do this. This is our current listings right now. I'll just kind of show you guys, pretty much under contract. This is one of my big ones right here that we are showing a lot. We have a couple of them that, let me see my one. This is the one that is priced too high. She's on 22 acres in Huntsville, but letting you guys know, kind of what we're going to do when we list your home with these photos and stuff. So they look really good. It's just Huntsville is pretty far. Oh, that's a bad picture of the closet, but this is what we're gonna, and they're on lots of land out here, but super nice house. If you guys don't have any questions, then I can thank you all very much for attending. And you guys are all entered into a drawing to a $100 gift card. And this is pretty good odds at 33%. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
So I got them
good.
right here. I'm not cheating. I'm not looking. Thank you all very much. And it's super cool that our winner is going to be Miss Cindy Voss. Look, I've got you here. So Miss Cindy,
Wow.
I know. Thanks for joining us. And I'll message you. I'll put the visa in a little envelope, but I will send it like priority mail, because you know how the mail is around here. It's like the dinosaur ages. I don't want it to get lost or anybody to touch it. So I'll get that off to you by tomorrow. I have a full day. But I appreciate you guys joining me. Next month, we're going to do the same thing, and it's going to be all about new construction. So Laura, I know you were kind of interested in some new construction. I'm in the Highlands. I was trying to get Laura to go to the Highlands. That's my new favorite neighborhood. And Laura's from Splendora. So Laura's speaker doesn't work. She is at Splendora ISD, but I know her very well. And the Highlands is my new favorite neighborhood, but Laura doesn't like the tax rate in the Highlands. So any of those new construction communities are going to have a really high tax rate. Mike, you and Cindy, but all three of you are in lower tax rates because of where you are. And it's kind of, Laura's like, I don't know if I can choke that amount of taxes down on that new construction, but there are some neighborhoods. D.R. Horton has some homes, and we have some homes in Roman Forest with some individual builders in some other areas that do have new construction with lower tax rates. So that's what our virtual meeting will be about next month. So if you guys would share the word and pass it along, I'd really appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys spending the time with me today out of your busy schedule, and I'll be very respectful of your time, and hopefully see you guys soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, Mike.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you soon. Bye,
Okay.
Cindy. Thanks, Laura.
Bye-bye.
Bye.